Welcome to Wednesday's Market SITREP here at Top Gun Options. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. I'm the Chief Executive Officer and the Chief Options Instructor here at TGO, folks. Let's do our strategic and operational brief, and then we'll talk tactically about some trades. Obviously, folks, unless you've been on the other side of Mars for the past couple of days, you know the summit went incredibly well over in Singapore between the president and the dear leader of North Korea. Of course, liberals are frothing at the mouth. But these are the same, and obviously the idiots in the media, these are the same people that if Donald Trump was the devil, they would complain it's not hot enough in hell. And if you didn't expect that North Korea, dear leader, was going to land in North Korea and say, hey, this guy folded to my demands and he's agreeing to lift sanctions and call off military exercises, you're an idiot. If you didn't think this guy was going to do this. Of course he's going to do this. I guarantee you the president, as one of the greatest negotiators I've ever seen, talked about this and said, hey man, I know you got to go back and maybe MF me a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm going to kill you if you don't do this. Nobody knows what was said in their one-on-one except those four people, two translators and those two guys, and I guarantee you it's going to stay in that room because they're going to, if it does get out, somebody's going to get killed. So anyway, this is good stuff, folks. He didn't fly pallets of cash in unmarked aircraft in the dark of night to get hostages released or to kiss his ass. He put 3 carrier battle groups off of North Korea in October. I had a couple of my best friends were the commanders of the air groups and also the skippers of a couple of the carriers. I know exactly what was going on in October, and I knew they were going to strike. Anyway, so put this on the back burner for now because remember, the market only cares when it cares. Okay, and speaking of that, actually, you know what? Before I forget, this afternoon, so today is Wednesday, June 13th. It's about 8:15 in the morning, doing my pre-market brief. This afternoon, after the close at 4:30 Eastern, I'm going to do a kind of a live training session or a trade brief, so to speak, even though the market's closed, because I'm going to talk about some actionable trades based on everything that's going on this week. Here's where I need you to go. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT. The FT stands for full throttle. That's what I want to do with your portfolio is take it full throttle. FT-webinar. One more time, that's go.topgunoptions.com/FT-webinar. Okay? And we're going to talk about all this stuff. What are we going to talk about? This is one of the most biggest macro geopolitical military weeks that I've seen in about the quarter of a century I've been doing this. So Trump already knocked out his meeting. Putin's going to meet with Mohammed bin whatever his name is from Saudi Arabia. The UK members of parliament are going to vote on a Brexit bill amendment. Last time I checked, and you know, I'm getting old here, and my old age, maybe I'm getting a little senile here, but Britain voted. They voted to leave. But of course, the limousine liberals, the members of parliament, are so these commoners, they don't know what is best for them. So let's revote on this. Might need their own little revolution over there across the pond. The Fed, obviously the biggest monkey in the room this week, in my opinion, is the Fed. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, we know they're going to hike, folks. The Fed funds futures rate is pricing in a 99% probability that we're going to get a hike here from 1.75 to 2.0, so a 25 bip increase. What we're really going to be looking for is their statement and their press conference. So these press conference ones, Jerome Powell, the new skipper of the Fed, his spoken words are what's going to move the market. How many more rate increases are we going to see this year? We're going to see 2, 1. What's their outlook? So that's what the market it really is in a holding pattern right now. Global shares pause ahead of the Fed decision. So that's going on today. The ECB is going to update and talk about their quantitative easing and their unwinding, and also the Bank of Japan is going to be stimulating the Bank of Japan and their economy as well. So it's a big macroeconomic week, folks. Kind of a sleeper story. Well, it's not a sleeper story. Literally before I jumped on the air, 7:52, about what, 25 minutes ago, the president said what? Oil prices are too damn high. Who's that guy, that African-American guy up in New York? The rent is oil prices are too damn high. OPEC is at it again, not good. I love this. We have a bull put spread that I put on last week on the XLE. The XLE is the Select Spider Energy ETF. We have a great looking bull put spread, the 75, 74.5. 165 contracts. Let's take a look at that trade, folks. It's up $2,000. It's up about, what, 60, 70. It's potentially by June 22nd. I picked June 22nd right here as the expiration. Why? The OPEC meeting. I think before the OPEC meeting, I think around Friday when Putin is talking to the Saudis, I think Russia is going to bail on the OPEC deal. That's going to throw a lot of volatility into the oil markets here. So this bull put spread is looking great. I think this is going to hit a max profit of $3,300 in 2.5 weeks. Let me get a hell yeah if you wouldn't mind making $3,300 in 2.5 weeks. Well, oh my God, that's an incredible amount of risk. It's right here, folks. If everything went to hell in a handbasket, every OPEC nation opened their spigots and oil went to zero, the most we could ever lose on this trade, folks, is $5,000. This afternoon, I'm going to teach you in that live training session that I have an SOP, a standard operating procedure. I never, in these $100,000 model portfolios, I never want to risk more than 5% or $5,000 on any one trade. So, and obviously, folks, that's 165 contracts. Wiz, I don't want to risk more than $2,500. Okay, do half the contracts. Wiz, I'm a quadrillionaire, and I don't want to risk more than $100,000. Okay, do 1,600 of these, whatever. I'm not an RIA, a registered investment advisor, or broker dealer. What you get to do at Top Gun Options is kind of eavesdrop on what a professional trader is doing and managing a model portfolio. So risking $5,000 to potentially make $3,300, that one is looking great. So oil is it's a sleeper story, but it's about to wake up pretty damn quick next week with the OPEC meeting. Tech folks has been really fired up lately, and that means we have a tech wreck coming, a potential tech wreck. This came out yesterday that FANG insiders are selling their stocks faster than any time in history. So as you, the sheeple, are buying these tech stocks because you think they're hot right now, all the insiders are selling. Do you have a chair when the music stops? I'm going to show you how to hedge. This came out yesterday. Consumer prices surged at the fastest pace since 2011. That's not necessarily good. That means the Fed might be cleared hot to roll interest rates up. Let me move this over here because WTI, oil, Russia cutbacks. Yeah, I'm gonna cover that this afternoon too. All right, we got to get cruising here. So the Fed obviously is going to raise rates again today. We got to see what their outlook is. I really think though, net folks, we're starting to run out of airspeed. This is about half that January run. We've had a massive run off the 50-day average of the S&P 500, and I think we're going to. I think it's time for a little bit of a pause here. So this afternoon, we're going to take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at our. Yesterday, I put on an Amazon weekly bull put spread. So I put this trade on yesterday. The 1677.5 bull put spread. Hey, this looks familiar. Risking about $5,000 to potentially make $1,800 in 4 days, with a 74% probability of max profit. Isn't that awesome? 3 out of 4 times you're going to make $1,800 in this trade. How's Amazon looking pre-market? Well, Amazon is up about $6-7 right now. Wiz, isn't that awesome? Yeah, look at that. So we're above 1,700 again. This bull put spread, you could have potentially made $1,800 this week as long as Amazon finishes above 1,680, which I'm pretty damn sure it's going to. So, all right, guys, here's what you need to do. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/FT-webinar, and you'll get access to our session this afternoon. Folks, make sure you register. Even I'm at work or I'm busy this afternoon. Make sure you register because I'm going to send out the replay. Okay? So make sure you register. I'm going to send out the replay. One more time, go.topgunoptions.com/FT. That stands for full throttle -webinar, because this afternoon we're going to talk about the most volatile week in 25 years. And speaking of that, the VIX. Wiz, it sounds like there's a lot of potential bad going on in the world. Well, you couldn't tell looking at the volatility index, folks. We are almost back down to our resting heart rate where we were when? Before the market absolutely imploded in January and the VIX went as high as about 50. So that's nuts. Vol is extremely cheap right now, folks. And you're going to learn a lot of Wizisms here at Top Gun Options. One of them is when Vol is cheap, you buy it. When it's expensive, you sell it. Okay? So I'll see many of you at 4:30 after the close, or I'll see you on the replay. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless.